Hello, 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 hello. Happy Easter. Shalom, shalom to our Christian brothers and sisters. May you have a blessed Easter. Oh my goodness. How is everyone? Is all well with your soul? As people find the stream, we want to bless you all, regardless of what your religion or spiritual practice is. And we will bring in today's special Easter special with a little bit of music by Victor Ivik, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, hello, beautiful people. Hello, hello. Is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. May it be well with your soul on this beautiful Easter morning, Sunday, April 5th. For those of you who celebrate our Christian brethren, we want to thank you for spending time with us. And may you have a blessed Easter. I'm sure it's a very busy day in Jerusalem. May all those who pray in the Holy Land be safe and free from harm. Evidently, there were some churches that were getting bomb threats in the Holy Land. And so we just want to pray for everyone who has received Mass, has taken Mass all over the world, that your Jewish brethren, your Buddhist Jewish brethren, and everyone else know that we are here in support of your spiritual path. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Did you like that? Did you like that music? I'm starting to immediately cough, which means there's dust everywhere. Oh my goodness. Sitting in a dust field right now. Every time I sit over here, dust. Oh my goodness. Tons of dust. Inhaling massive amounts of it. How is everyone? Get a chance to listen to it enough? Is that not the best? I think that song, hands down, it's a new song. I think hands down it is my favorite hymn so far. One of my favorites. Yeah. Let's see. I've been eating chametz. No, I've been eating, not chametz. I've been eating matzah. I know a lot of Christians try to eat matzah also and have the Passover so that they can feel more connected to Jesus. So we do have a lot of Christians also that do take Passover. You know, if you can do the whole 8 days, God bless you. The bread of affliction, right? Time to think about the poor, time to think about those that are living as slaves all over the world, oppression of human rights, and the spiritual significance of resurrection and redemption that is possible for all of us, that even Saul, who was a homicidal killer maniac, even he was able to achieve redemption. So what I think about at this time, the passing over, is that we leave the old ways behind, that the things that have inflicted us in the past. That is what the spiritual significance of this time is. That you close the chapter on toxic relationships, that you close the chapter on toxic relationships with yourself, and give yourself the freedom, forgive yourself for past mistakes, apologize to those you have harmed, pay them back if you owe them money. And then the Passover and then ends, and the old you is left in the grave, and the new you arises free from the shackles of your shame and guilt and fear and all the other things that hold you back in life. So that is the spiritual gift of exile. You know, the Jewish people were in exile in Egypt. They went to Egypt to do some business, they got comfortable, and then they wound up enslaved. They forgot Joseph. They forgot the great things that Joseph had done for Pharaoh. There arose a new king in the land that knew not Joseph. He didn't remember Joseph. He didn't remember that the Jewish people had helped the Egyptian courts, saved them from famine, all the good things that had happened. And slowly the human rights began to erode for people. And they became slaves for 400 years. They were so debased and had never had a day off, worked to death, right? So, first thing that God said is what? What did he say to those slaves when they came out of Egypt? He said, you're going to get a day off from work. Not only are you going to get a day off from work, but you are obligated to take a day off. It's not natural or good for you to work 7 days a week. And that's why a Sabbath or a day of rest is in the 10 Commandments. The law that governed the people was you will not be able to force your employees to work for 7 days a week. It's a nice idea, right? Turn everything off. Turn off your electronics. Turn off your phone. From Friday night to Saturday night, no TV, no phone, no, you can read a book, no cooking. The 39 laws that constitute work, or 39 categories of work. The first 10 are everything required in making bread making. Some would say in order to make mortar for bricks, in order to build things, right? So you can't plant, you can't harvest, you can't water, you can't separate the wheat from the chaff, separate the bad from the good. Cooking, can't cook. Right? You are resting. You are meditating. You can put your food on a hot plate to keep it warm. Nice. You can put it in the oven at 200 degrees, a slow cook stew. Pop it out. Have it for lunch. Have a little roasted chicken at night. Keep it warm on the top. You can make a quick salad because that doesn't require cooking. If you want to do a quick salad, nothing minced too fine because then it starts to look like work. But you can open up a bag of lettuce and just meditate on God, meditate on unity. Yeah. So that's Easter. That's Shabbat or the Sabbath, but it's within the context of people that had been so dehumanized for 400 years, they had to slowly return back to society and learn how to be human again. When you've been given no humanity, it's interesting that the Torah talks it will take generations for people to recover from the traumas of slavery, right? So each of us can become enslaved. We can become enslaved by thoughts, inability to forgive ourselves for mistakes we've made in the past. And how can you really be free from that? Obsessive compulsive disorders. Can't let it go that so-and-so did something in 1983, right? Particularly if you have a photographic memory or a really good memory. And let's face facts, all women with broken hearts have photographic memories. That she remembers exactly what you did in 1983. Right? So the ability to really resolve that, sometimes it requires us to tell people precisely, you did this, and to hold them accountable. Sometimes it means finally seeing your perpetrator go to prison. In the case of the Israelites, they saw their perpetrators drowned in front of them, which was horrifying, right? And then they had to, once the nightmare was over, they had to turn their attention to the future and build a new life for themselves based on laws that the life of a human being matters. The life of every human being matters. And that was the Ten Commandments. It was the first attempts at creating a functional society in a nation of slaves who had been so dehumanized, they didn't even know why they should be alive at all. And so Moses gave them a reason to live, right? The idea that there would be future generations that would never know war and suffering and slavery gave them a reason to live. So we think about Easter, we think about leaving the old ways in the grave, leave the old ways behind. And when it's truly in the grave, then you can be free and move on. That is the resurrection, right? In terms of the cards, it is described as the Queen of Swords. She's really resolved the past. She really has been able to put the past behind her. I love the fact that she has Buddhist beads on her left hand, that she has been counting the days and the mantras. And she now turns her attention to the future. She has taken the sword and she has cut the cords. She has, sometimes the people that did bad things to us aren't even slightly apologetic, but it's important for you to let your voice be heard and to stick up for yourself, and then to never go back into slavery again. Never allow that person to have access to you again, right? And in the end, the abuser loses, right? So what happens to the person that mistreated you? They receive the ultimate punishment. What is the ultimate punishment? They're never going to get to have you in their life again. That is the ultimate punishment. They will never know your touch again. They will never know your compassion. Your homemade cooking. They lose. You win. You choose yourself, right? So all of that is part of the redemption story. And when everything is impossible, when it seems impossible, the doubting Thomas, when we think, well, there is no hope, there's no possibility, there is always hope for redemption. Well, welcome everybody. We're going to go ahead and turn the camera around. I've seen amazing redemption stories. Yeah. I've seen sociopaths cease to be sociopaths, right? So an example would be, the New York mobster who, the dog father, right? An example would be the dog father. So the dog father is a really great example of redemption, right? James Giuliani, the dog father, right? He started off in the mafia. He never cared about anybody but himself. And then one day he was walking down the street with his girlfriend and he spotted a dog dying in front of a vet's office, and the vet said, I'm not going to take every dog that gets dumped here. You don't have money. So the dog was just lying on the street. And something in him, when he saw the eyes of the dog, changed him. He took the dog home, cared for the dog, loved the dog until the dog was healed. And that was the spiritual shift that he will openly say, I was a sociopath. I was a psychopath. He did terrible, terrible things when he was in the mafia. And so even someone like James Giuliani was saved. He received redemption in a very unusual way, by looking into the eyes of an animal that was asking for help. So I think the takeaway here is that people can change. People can change. And we should not sit around waiting for it. We have to go and live our lives, but people can change. They can be redeemed. So we give a warm welcome and gratitude to Ann Coleman. Happy Easter to you, my love. And to Mary Zool, 2135. Happy Easter to you. Throwback asked to rotask backwards. Ooh, hard to say that. Greetings to you, my love, and a blessed Sunday and a happy Easter to you. Happy Passover if you're like me. Eating matzah, it does a number on your digestion because you're just like chewing on this dry flour. When does pass? It's 8 days, so I don't even know how long it's been going on. I just know I've been, April 9th. So the evening of April 9th, we have a tradition in Israel. We order pizza. I guess all the Jewish neighborhoods. We like to, it's interesting because pizza was probably invented from Passover, taking a matzah and putting olive oil and cheese on it and eating it, melting it and eating it, was probably the first pizza. But yeah, it ends Wednesday. So we're now Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Will I make it? I've gone through one box of shmura matzah already. I've gone through one box of shmura matzah already. So yeah. I've got one more to go. Hi, Kay. Good to see you. Happy Easter. Kelly Knoll, 1716. Happy Easter to you from beautiful Australia. Nidhi A. Bronstrup, 2375. Hello. Happy Easter to you. Bezaholic. Interesting. Happy Easter. Passover to Irish girl. Something over here sets me off. I don't know what it is. It's just accumulation. I think it's like dust. Why does dust accumulate by window sills? Does anybody have the answer for that? Here, it's just a lot of floating dust by the windows and dust in the altar. And I guess I could try and move away from the dust. Would that help me? I've never tried that. If I go further from the dust, what do you guys think? Should I try that? Oh, so that dramatically will reduce the amount of dust I'm inhaling. Does anybody have the scientific explanation for why there's so much dust floating in sunbeams? And like, why does it is it electromagnetic reasons? I've always wondered about that. I had a dream. Hello, Lisa. Lisa Gust 1606. Happy Easter. Sheila B. Critical Thinker. Happy Easter. Scorpio. Happy Easter. Irish girl. Bezaholic is celebrating 13 months with us. Great to see you. Kimberly Kanos. That sounds very Greek. Hello and happy Sunday to you. Marilyn Arala Talbernas, 3184. Hello. Nidhi A. Bronstrup, 2375. Hello. Cecilia Sanganiti. Hello. Had a dream. Everything is energy, right? Everything is energy. Who here believes that the soul of humanity is perfect and then we enter into this world and we become imperfect, right? We have egos and personalities. We can love someone's soul, but we can't deal with their mental health issues or their personality issues. So we connect with the true nature of people in the dream state, right? That's why it's important for us to collect our dreams. But as many of you know, I wrote a peace proposal. Okay, I wrote a peace proposal. And the Anderson Oasis protocol, or Oasis 1, it was called Oasis 1 because it was the first time we had ever attempted to do something like this, right? And if you'd like to find out about my thesis, you can check it out with the link below. So, here's another image of what it's going to probably look like. We decided to suggest creating an alternate community, a secular alternate community on the border between Israel and Gaza in no man's land, in the region that was the no man's land that nobody was living in because it was a security controlled area. A buffer of about 2 miles exists between Israel and Gaza for security reasons. And this was after the massacre took place on October 7th when Hamas invaded Israel and killed 1,200 people. It was an 11-hour massacre, 11 hours of massacring people who had gone to a concert. It was actually kind of a peace concert. It was a feel-good concert at the border. And they were raided by these terrorists, right? So I worked on it, and November 21st, it was sent to the Israeli Defense Forces, to Netanyahu. I sent a copy to Netanyahu. And that was, as many of you know, that took place on November 21st of 2023. Here is that document. And you can see the date, November 21st, 2023. 11 p.m. in the United States, which means that he received it, his team received it on November 22nd afternoon. The same day, I sent a copy to Jonathan Conricus, who was the spokesman for the IDF, asking if he would please forward the concept of Oasis 1 to the IDF War Cabinet. And here's a copy of that correspondence. And Jonathan took it and also made sure that the IDF War Cabinet, he then turned it over to the IDF War Cabinet. And I prayed very, very hard that God that would make a miracle, right? I also sent a copy to Benny Gantz, who is the head of the Unity Party, Blue and White, which is trying to create unity, a secular democratic government based on unity of the people, right? Sorry. Sorry. Having trouble with this. Okay. Can't silence it. There we go. So I remembered praying as hard as I could, "This has to happen," and I felt as if a something had split open in the universe. I felt very confident that I was on the right path. You can see from the date on November 27th that God made a miracle, right? There is Benny Gantz with the Blue and White Party of Unity discussing Oasis 1 with Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is going to pay for it. Within 5 days. Within 5 days of me screaming to the universe that this has to happen, it was in the hands of Elon Musk and Unity Government, Benny Gantz. Let's do this thing. Let's create unity. Let's build a Marshall Plan. Six zones will be at the perimeter. There he is at Rafah. He ends at Rafah, which is the Egyptian border. You can go ahead and count the dots. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rafah. Down at Rafah. Again, 5 days after receiving it. Here's the map. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down to Rafah. Down at Rafah. So the handwritten map that I created, this piece of junk, is an historical document. Here's the original document. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down at Rafah, Egypt border. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down at Rafah. What's happening? What's happening? Last night I had a dream. I don't know all the details of the dream, but I want to share the dream. And that is why I told you that stuff first. And now I'm going to tell you the dream I had last night. I had a dream that I was high up in a tower, in a very large office, with a group of other people having a meeting with Elon Musk. Now think about the imagery. I was high up. I wasn't down here in this physical world, which is rudimentary with skins of leather, and I was high up, past the clouds, past the ego, past the mental health disorders, to the pure soul, to the pure state. Now, in the Tarot, that is called Adam Kataman. The first Adam, right? The soul of Adam, or the soul of humanity prior to the fall, before entering the physical world, up in the clouds. I'm about to incarnate and get a skin of leather. I'm going to exile myself from the Garden of Eden. So I was up with the fool in the higher realms, having a meeting with a bunch of men who had positions of power. And sitting at the desk with big, beautiful bay windows in the clouds was Elon Musk. So I was connecting with the true soul and not the personality who's a drug addict, a racist, transphobic. I was connecting to another Elon Musk. I was connecting to Elon Musk prior to the fall. And I said, are you going to build Oasis? Are you going to do this or not? Are we going to get to world peace, or are your mental health problems going to get in the way? Are you going to make a deal, help us make a deal with Saudi Arabia and the Pan-Arab states for cooperation, trade? It'd be great if you could help Zelensky as well. And we can talk a little bit about the 5 phases, why I argued that Putin had to be removed. And that song, All Is Well With My Soul, that is the kind of energy I took away from that energetic connection, that all is well with this project, that this project has been fated, and that many lives will be saved. That we are seeing terrible things right now. 40,000 people gunned down and slaughtered in the streets of Tehran in 2 days by the IRGC. Horrible wars everywhere. But in this higher place that I was in, all was well with my soul. All was well with Mr. Musk's higher soul. And I felt in that energetic space this tremendous love and gratitude to this person's soul for his higher self guiding this process. And before I left, I said, "Can I kiss you on the cheek?" And he said, "Yes." And so I went over to his desk and I gave Mr. Musk a kiss on the cheek. And I said, "I love you. Love you. Thank you for manifesting this." So we're now in Easter, and we're leaving the old ways in the ground. We're kind of coming out of the darkness. And I believe that when we think that there is no hope, when we think that people are unredeemable, they have a universal soul, and we all have a soul. And the soul is perfect. And that isn't the same as what they do in this physical world with, killing 250,000 kids in Africa, not giving them peanut butter, all of that. Elon's going to have to take on the karma of that. He already has corruption, his physical incarnation, right? But his higher soul is pure. So, and connecting to that higher soul. And the more we can try and connect to the higher soul, which is pure, that person can receive the download and become more aligned with who they truly are and not fall into the darkness of temptation, drug addiction, ego, prejudice, racism, transphobia, homophobia, all these other terrible things that can come from just being a human being. But I share my dream today because people have asked me, is Oasis a go? Are we going to do this thing? Is it going to happen? And the amount of love I had for this person's soul and the gratitude that he was going to be an instrument that was used by God to create the space. Now, the universe may choose to take him out because of certain things he's done, right? He violated his contract, right? But regardless, the Oasis will happen. He will be an instrument for that. And karmically, he what will happen to him will happen to him. He has incurred his karma. But his higher self has given a commitment to Oasis. And so that is why Oasis will happen and is happening, right? And that is why people are meeting with MBS, right? That's why the meetings happen. The meetings are happening because everybody has a divine calling. I have a divine calling. You have a divine calling. And we are all placed on this earth for a divine calling. He doesn't know why he loves me so much. I'm not a young, pretty blonde in my 30s, right? But there's just something about Whimsy. He loves Whimsy. It's not rational. Putting his ass on the line for Whimsy, none of this is rational to Elon Musk. He's never had a cup of coffee with me. And yet, for reasons that he doesn't understand, he knows he has to do this. He has to put his ass on the line for Oasis. It's not rational. He's actually losing money. He's going to put in billions and probably he won't live long enough to recoup any money. It's not rational at all. There's nothing rational about this. There's nothing rational about the fact that he's a little in love with this crazy old woman. It's not rational that I put my fucking ass on the line for you, right? It's not rational. So I think that what I'm saying is I invite people to rise above ego and go to a higher level and see the soul of somebody without the impurity, that we all have a calling. Before he dies, he will build that trade route. He will build that peace and that trade route. And he will have to incur the karma of the sins he's committed against his family, against human beings. But for whatever reasons that he doesn't understand, he has to do this. He has to follow Whimsy. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I love her so much. but I do. And it's not rational. There's nothing rational about it. So what do you do with that? What do we do with this? What do we do? What are we doing? I don't know. Love is not rational. But when you love an idea or a concept, or you love a human being, you will take a bullet for them. And it doesn't have to be rational. Yeah. So all of that is contained in the story of Easter, right? The doubting Thomas. He's dead. He's never coming back. He's a jerk. He'll never change. What Passover and Easter teach me is that people can change, and that we all can experience redemption. We all can change in the blink of an eye, right? All right, so we are going to bring in the empath's prayer. And yes, in answer to your question, I took away from the dream that this will happen. That it was I was in heaven, basically. I was in heaven with the pure soul of Elon Musk, and just had all this love for him, and he had all this love for me. And it was just like, I love you. I love you. I love Oasis. I love Oasis. This is completely irrational, but we will die to build Oasis. We have this contract. I have the air filter going on right now, on full blast. So I have a contract with this individual. I have a soul contract with Elon, right? And he doesn't know why. I love that woman. He doesn't know why. He's Whimsy. You're driving me crazy. Get back in the bottle, Genie, right? But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. God knows we have nothing in common politically, right? It is what it is. It is an irrational thing. It is not rational. All right, I'm going to clear my voice. I did not take Benadryl. I apologize. If you would like to receive a healing at this day, please go ahead and give us your name or the name of the person you would like us to pray for, and we will include them in our prayers today as we bring in the empath's prayer. You know what? If you guys don't mind, I am going to go grab my Zyrtec, my allergy medicine. Why don't we go ahead? Would you guys like to listen to that music a little bit more while I go and get my Zyrtec? I think we should do that, right? I think we should let Whimsy go get her Zyrtec, and we'll listen to a nice little bit of music. And then we're going to go ahead and do the empath's prayer and then offer you a collective reading. So let's go ahead and listen to some nice music while I take my medicine. All right. That is All Is Well With My Soul by Victor Iviak. And it is my favorite hymn right now. All right, so we're going to go ahead and begin the empath's prayer. If you or someone you know is sick and you would like to receive a healing at this time, my coughing should come to an end. I just took a Zyrtec. Yeah, so if you would like to receive a healing at this time, please go ahead and give us your name or the name of someone you wish us to pray for, and we will include them in our prayers as we take in the empath's prayer. Oh, I feel better already. That stuff works fast. Wow, that stuff works fast. I'm already getting improvement within like 2 minutes. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we come together at this time and we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. For those of you today who are requesting a healing, today let us enjoy the higher frequency of Easter Passover. Our prayers will probably be a lot stronger. We come together collectively at this time and we pray over you. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. We also pray for our leaders, those people who are in power, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Netanyahu, MBS, and all the other leaders who have lost their way. We pray for them because we have strife with them. We pray that they receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, Putin, leadership of the Taliban, and other countries that oppress human rights. Netanyahu, of course. And together again, collectively as a community, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. May all souls be healed and raised up. Let us raise ourselves up. Let us come to a higher vibration. Let's stop beating each other up. Let's stop being rude to each other. Let's all try and do better. God knows I need to do better. All right. Well, it is a pleasure and an honor to read for you today. Let's go ahead and give a collective reading. And I feel like I'm being directed to the One Tarot deck. The One Tarot deck was created by Selena Rose and Lena Rodriguez. You can get it on Amazon. I believe there may be other places if you don't like Amazon, but this is the One Tarot I am using today. If you like it, it was created by Lena Rodriguez, as I said, and Sienna Rose. And purchase a deck. You may like it. All right, so we're looking at the collective reading. I just don't want to fall into negativity anymore. It's easy. I'm only human, God knows I can be dark, but I just want to raise people up. I just don't want to go on these low vibrations anymore. I just don't want to do it. It's not good for my soul. It's not good for my soul to be talking crap about people all the time. Sociopaths love me. I don't know what it I attract them and they fall in love with me. It's just that I don't know. I attract a lot of cluster B. I don't know what that's about. They get crushes on me. I don't know. I don't know why, but it's definitely a problem. I don't attract normal people. I don't know why. All right. I got to work on that. Start attracting normal men in my life. I don't know. But then you'd be bored, Dr. Anderson. All right, where you are at right now, this is the message for you. And no personal readings, Julie. We don't do personal readings. We do a collective, and then we do political. Not really political, world events. We're moving away from politics, more towards world events and how we can empower you. I'm getting off the hate gravy train. I don't want that here for myself or for you. Let's go a little higher, everybody. All right, where we are at collectively is great confusion. There is a great confusion over all of us. People don't know what the hell is happening. People don't know. They're getting mixed information. We don't understand why Trump is the president. We don't understand what he's doing with this war. We're terrified about the fact that our country is not solvent anymore. And the base card is the moon, which can be lunacy, craziness, but it can also be psychic phenomenon. Right? So the moon card is associated with Cancer. It's not the disease Cancer. The astrological sign of Cancer is associated with the moon. Howling at the moon, lunacy, the werewolf, right? And the karma card is Seven of Cups, which is also can be dementia. It can be pipe dreams. It was originally developed with the idea of smoking an opium. Opium was all over the place when this art was created. Heroin was legal. People used to go and purchase it, put out by Bear aspirin, and people were shooting up and dying on the streets from heroin. We had an epidemic heroin problem in the United States, right? So that was right around the time opium was all over the place, right? So we have being stoned, confused, completely out of touch. What the hell is happening here? And the base card is the moon, which is lunacy. Before things get better, we will attract a lot of chaos. Okay, so it is important for you at this time to take care of yourself. And specifically, I want to mention blood sugar dysregulation or type 2 diabetes. It's abbreviated as DM2, right? So watch your carbohydrates, watch your thyroid function. Because when we think about being spaced out, it can be, I didn't get enough protein in my diet. I'm feeling ungrounded. I'm feeling spaced out. I'm living in a fantasy world of pipe dreams. I'm just completely out of it. I'm going to go smoke some more weed, right? It's important for you to not be dependent on any substances at this time. And that includes habitual. Watch your thyroid and your blood sugar. Hi, Joyce. And you may want to be thinking about a zone diet. So when we think about a zone diet, we don't want to get more than 25 grams of sugar a day. Now, carbohydrates are good for you, but we want to get the complex carbohydrates that have a low glycemic index. So because this came up and it is a collective reading, I do want to talk about this a little bit. And I want to show you a handout for an anti-inflammatory diet because they want me to talk about this today. If you need to see me as a medical intuitive physician, I do a general health coaching. You can go ahead and contact me through Booksy, Dr. Whimsy Anderson, and we can set up a telemedicine appointment, but this will get you started. And it's this idea that we want to go with a 40-30-30 to keep our blood sugar in the zone. So we think about the good carbohydrates having very little sugar in them. And so if you see steamed vegetables that have the lowest sugar in them, it would be something like asparagus, bean sprouts. The highest sugar would be yams. So if you're really concerned about your blood sugar, you're going to want to be higher up with your vegetables. They're going to have a better ratio of complex carbohydrates to protein and fat. Asparagus, bean sprouts, beet greens, broccoli, all the greens are good for you. The mustard greens, the Swiss chard, all that good stuff. String beans are very good for you. Beets, believe it or not, are only at 6%. Brussels sprouts, I love me some Brussels sprouts. I like to brush a little olive oil on them. You steam them for just a bit. Steam them al dente and then roast them with a little bit of olive oil, balsamic vinegar. A tad bit of maple syrup is probably okay because you can have 25 grams of sugar a day. Your grains, wheat has the highest glycemic index. If you're eating a slice of bread, even whole wheat bread, it's going to have a glycemic index of 100, meaning it's going to pour sugar into your bloodstream really quick. So moving away from bread is probably a really good idea. Quinoa is the best grain for the human body. It's the highest in protein, and you can see here on the list of grains that are good for you, quinoa, brown rice. The short grain is better than the long grain, just for flavor, in my opinion. Legumes, make sure you're soaking those. Let them sprout, rinse the water for easy digestion. They don't have to be the whole plate. Now, if you can't be completely vegan or vegetarian, then I think the Cubans have the right idea. So you'll have a little bit of meat and a little bit of beans with your brown rice. And 50% of your protein will come from the beans and 50% from the chicken. And then that way you've supplemented your protein with a little chicken. But meat should always be a garnish, no more than 10 to 20% of total caloric intake. And then fish is very important because omega-3s are associated with decreased risk for coronary artery disease and Alzheimer's. And anything that's good for the heart is going to be good for the brain. Of course, chicken and turkey, we want it to be organic, humanely raised. Baked, broiled, or steamed is excellent. Fruit is fine. You can have fruit. You want to be moving towards the low glycemic index, like the berries, the melons. Bananas. If you have diabetes, you want to avoid banana, figs, prunes, and dried fruit. Sweeteners in very small amounts, no sugar, but a little bit of maple syrup, like I said. You can do a couple tablespoons a day if you don't have diabetes, but reduce it if you have diabetes. Nuts and seeds. We think about greens, beans, onions, berries, mushrooms, nuts, and seeds as being the most nutrient-dense food. Keep yourself hydrated. Ice water is not as hydrating as warm water. Okay, so the reason that I took the time to talk about that is because the energy over the group and the energy over the land right now is one of being spaced out and confused. And I just feel if people would be closer to the zone, keep your blood sugar stable, you're going to have less of that feeling of like, oh, I feel like I'm just spaced out. Like I don't feel like I'm in my body. That's often because of lack of sleep, dehydration, and blood sugar dysregulation. Those are the reasons that that can happen to you, particularly if you have it attached to a Seven of Cups, which is completely spaced out. I don't know what to do. Now, what I always tell people is when you don't know what to do, start with your diet. My world is crashing. I don't know if I live anymore. Okay. Before all else, we start with the diet. Many of you are suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder, right? So I've had talks with many of you, including myself, by the way, that we can't let certain things go, right? We're obsessing about somebody who done us wrong. Now, there are homeopathics and Bach flower remedies if you are having trouble resolving something, or more than likely you cannot let it go because it is not resolved. And so we give white chestnut, Bach flower remedy. Can also do rescue remedy if you're having anxiety attack with that. But white chestnut, Bach flower remedy, which is found in rescue remedy. Rescue remedy does have the white chestnut. It will help with rudimentary thoughts, ruminations that you have obsessive thoughts where you cannot let it go. It just goes on and on and on and on and on, right? So be aware that there's a way to come out of this cycle if this is where you're at. And it's not out there. It's not going to be based on whether or not Trump loses the House and Senate, God willing, in November. I know I'm going to be doing my part to get out the vote, right? We all know we're Democrats, right? Most of the people here are Democrats. Or if you're not a Democrat, you don't like this president. We don't like what he's doing. We don't like what he did to children. We don't like what he did to Sasha Barros, right? We believe Sasha Barros, right? So all of that can hijack your brain, right? And we want you to get your brain back. We want you to be, and it starts with balancing your blood sugar, and so that your mind, and making sure you have adequate omega-3 in your diet. If you're a vegan, flax, chia, hemp, walnuts daily. Get you back to center. We got to get you grounded. If we don't get grounded, then any decision we make could be a decision that's based on irrational feelings or hyper emotionalism, and that's not good for you. It's not good for anybody, right? So I'm concerned about this juxtaposition of lunacy, and if it's happening to us, it could be happening with our world leaders. Everything in the world is connected. The universal oneness. So when you get grounded, when your blood sugar gets grounded, it will have a ripple effect. People say, damn, you seem awfully grounded lately. What are you doing? Oh, I don't recommend THC. I think it can become a dangerous drug, partly because you can just walk in and buy it. It's very habitual, and it's a depressant. It also can cause weight gain. People start overeating, and it can increase estrogen, which is not necessarily good for men. Women like it, though, for hot flashes, right? They'll take CBD and THC for hot flashes. But chronically using anything is a bad idea. I just took some Benadryl, right? Because I was coughing, and I'm like, I got to take some Benadryl or I'm not going to be able to do this show. It worked immediately. Now I'm not coughing, right? So it was atropine and Benadryl were discovered from the plant belladonna. I tried growing belladonna. For whatever reason, I can't get it to grow. I was hoping that I could get a tincture of belladonna, right? So that I would not have to take Benadryl. But the point is this: you don't want to be chronically dependent if you have a medical condition. But yeah, you've got to be careful with all these drugs making you fly out to Never Never Land. Like I'm feeling a little stoned on this Benadryl, right? So just be aware of that. You don't. That's why I don't like to take it very often. Okay, where you're at right now, Four of Swords. Remember, all is well with my soul. Meditation and center yourself. Make sure you're getting proper rest. And make sure your blood sugar is balanced and avoid sugar or processed foods or foods with high glycemic index at this time. So when we're thinking about foods high glycemic index, top of the list is going to be wheat. Again, even wheat flour. Oh, that makes me want French fries. It makes me, yeah, potatoes. Potatoes can do that. Greens and quinoa and brown rice I love my potatoes. There are ways to lower the glycemic index in a potato. If you add a little butter, that'll lower the glycemic index. If you add an egg, people will whip an egg into their mashed potatoes. That will also lower the glycemic index. So if you're looking at foods high in that are going to mess with your blood sugar, top of the list is like cornflakes and these processed cereals, instant oatmeal, boiled potatoes, mashed potatoes. Add a raw egg into it and a little bit of butter to lower it, and milk should lower it if you really want it. Rice milk, so go with almond milk unsweetened instead. Rice crackers again. Short grain rice, go with the brown. Yeah, watermelon is okay as a fruit, but you want to eat something solid afterwards. It's really white bread that was bad news. Even whole wheat looked not much better. So we're thinking about type 2 diabetes, which is epidemic in the United States. We really want to move away from those high glycemic foods. Add a raw egg into your mash. Oh, Aruba. Well, I'll be in London in a couple weeks, so I'm excited about that. Four of Swords, make sure you're getting adequate rest. Some of you are not sleeping properly, and make sure you are committed to a regular meditation practice. The crossing card at this time. Your challenge at this time is your family dynamics, and your genetics. So it could be that you have a family history of diabetes, a family history of mental illness, a family history of Alzheimer's, coronary artery disease. It comes as your obstacle. So your inheritance is your obstacle. The base of the matter is to discuss lunacy or a feeling of being spaced out, and your karma is Seven of Cups. So we have to break your karma. The 11th card, or the card under your base, is the karma card. Most readers don't take a base and karma card. I do. I do 12 cards. I do the Celtic cross, and I do a base, the card underneath, the base of the matter in one card. That is how I read a base. And the card under the base is your karma, what you have to work through karmically. And so they're saying what you have to work through karmically is this: you're all over the place. Now, the bad part about having your energy be all over the place could be that you're not being efficient, that you're not completing task, because you're all over the place. right? You want to balance. Yeah, a little bit of butter and egg will change will drop it down to about 55 so that you can enjoy your potatoes. It's a trick that the Scottish do and the Irish. They'll whip an egg into it to get so you won't have a blood sugar spike. What is above you is Four of Wands. There's a new beginning starting for you in April. So you're starting a new road. We have the fourth month. I read wands as months. I do read time and space with the wands. Many readers do. And that's because of tree rings and dendrochronology. We know that time can be found in the wood and that we can tell time through wood. We know the past. We know whether or not it was a drought. And before you buy a piece of land, cut a tree ring from the land and check the history of the land. Was there drought? Was there difficulties? Was there disease? These things. Oh, thank you, Philly. Philly has been kind enough to don't gift 5 memberships. What a kind and wonderful thing to do, Philly Amachi. And we deeply appreciate your support. So, Four of Wands is the fourth month. It is the month of April, or it's a 4-month period that we see a building of a new process for you. And what you're sitting in, what you're marinating in is the Fool. Should I go for it? Should I try and do that thing that I've always wanted to do? Now I want to learn to play the piano. I'm learning to play the violin. I'm terrible at the guitar. I'm really struggling with the guitar because I'm not able to reach. I cannot play some of these chords, right? I'm always having to simplify what I play so that I'm not doing these complex, difficult chords, right? Maybe it might be easier if I play the piano, right? So a Fool card is when the person is thinking about trying something different, taking a leap of faith. The Four of Wands, a new beginning, right? What we're coming out of is the Three of Wands. Your wish has already been granted. So the Three of Wands is you're coming out of March. The third month of the year is March. So we're sitting in this desire to take the leap of faith, to enter into this new process, a new beginning. We're in April, you're coming out of the Three of Wands, and you're entering into the period of the Nine of Cups, which again is your wish has been granted. That which you wish to do, you may have. If it is honorable, I don't know why it's zooming. It's not supposed to be zooming. I thought I took care of that problem. Evidently I did not, so I'm going to have to go back and fix that again. But the Nine of Cups is that your wish has been granted, that your wish has been granted, and you will be allowed to fulfill it. If you pursue the thing you truly wish in life, it will be given to you. Go for it. If you really want to be a folk singer, even though you're a terrible guitarist, go for it. The people that love you will listen to it. I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing again. It's doing that thing I tried to stop. Where you're at right now, the devil. You have to overcome your addictions and your codependency to substances or foods that are having an impact on your health. Relationships that are toxic, it's not working. So yeah, you have the devil in the 7th house. Bad habits. Usually it's food, junk food. With this kind of energy, I'm thinking that this is somebody who either has blood sugar dysregulation, diabetes, hypothyroidism, or hormone dysregulation, and or somebody who has a problem with alcohol or marijuana. Also be careful of codependency or addiction to toxic relationships. All of that is what we think about when we think about the devil. Nine of Cups is that your wish has been granted. Also, the Three of Wands is considered a wish card. So that's kind of cool that you're juxtapositioned between two wish cards. And your House of Opposition, too much stress. Oh, we have another person that kindly gifted 5 memberships. We want to give a gratitude and thanks to Deborah Salazar 1326. Thank you so much, Deborah. You're a wonderful person, and I really like you. I really appreciate you. Just as a friend, I like Deborah. I've gotten to know her over time, and great woman. She has gifted you with memberships, and so be sure and thank her for that. So I'm a little concerned here for you, to be honest with you, without knowing you, who I'm all talking to. But are you getting adequate sleep? That's really what you should be asking yourself right now, because Nine of Swords can be stress. This is a card also of somebody who suffers from migraine headaches. The reason we say that is because the Nine of Swords goes through the skull. Neck tensions. I'll just do it over here. Neck tension. Stress in the head, getting a headache. My shoulders are killing me. My head is killing me. I'm up at night. I can't sleep. That is the Nine of Swords. I would say that you're very likely not getting adequate rest. And so for that, it stands in the 8th house. Again, other people read the 8th house differently. I read the tarot my own way. I have my own system. I have the Whimsy system. And I read the 8th house as the person or thing you're having a problem with. And if you were in my office and I was giving you a reading, I would be saying, excuse me, I'd be saying, this is somebody who's stressed out, zoned out, spaced out. Their blood sugar is all over the place. They have incredible talent. They can be anything they wish to be, but they're suffering from procrastination brought on by stress and anxiety and the fact that they can't focus. And so the first thing I have to do is I have to clean up their diet and balance their blood sugar and get them to start meditating. Four of Swords. They have some genetic component to their problems, because look what we have here as the crossing issue. What are you going up against? Your ancestors, your inheritance. You inherited some stuff. Yeah, you did. And now your biggest problem is you're stressing yourself out, babe. You are stressing yourself out. This bond, this addiction, food and people, right? And alcohol and marijuana and drug, all of that stuff, pharmaceuticals, prescription drugs. How do you avoid prison? You get your doctor to write the script. Free drug addiction. All you have to do is find a doctor to write the prescription, right? Look at Donald Trump. He can say, I'm not an alcoholic. No, I do benzos. What does a benzodiazepine do? It's a GABA, right? Binds to GABA receptors. What does alcohol do? Binds to GABA receptors. So what the hell's the difference? Gabapentin. Benzodiazepines to some extent, right? So no, benzodiazepines is an antihistamine. That's different. No, I'm thinking more of Ambien, right? So stress headaches. You may be having stress headaches. Your biggest obstacle right now is probably your diet, diet or drug and alcohol, leading to blood sugar dysregulation, stress, inadequate sleep. This is what the collective issue is that's coming in right now. Clonazepam, anything that has a Pam at the end is a benzo. All right, hope and fear. The Hermit. That's interesting to me. It could be that you're being called to study or learn more. I just got my new book on Chinese herbalism. I'm going to go to a park somewhere, treat myself to a nice little snack, sit on the grass, and read about Chinese herbal medicine. Yes, everybody has their jam, all right? Everybody has the thing that brings them joy. That's my jam. That's my joy, right? So I'm seeing more knowledge in the area that you wish to pursue. Maybe you want to be the one playing the violin or the guitar, the the piano, right? But you are thinking about studying some new stuff. Yeah, with that Hermit card moving into ninth position, which is the hope and the fear. Oh God, I got to study more. I'm not saying you got to go to get a PhD here. Don't be like Dr. PhD in anthropology will take you 20 years. I'm on my third year here and I still can't get a committee together. I wrote the Oasis one. You would think that every university, you would think that every anthropologist, don't you think that I should get a committee? Don't you think that at least one university in Israel would want to talk to the creator of Oasis one? Hello, can I get my freaking PhD? They don't get back to me. Sorry, Dr. Anderson, we're trying to stay alive. We're in bomb shelters. Oh, that's right. Okay, well, I guess that's an excuse. No, but anyway, so yeah, anthropology doctorals take forever because we have to do 2 years in the field. And the point is this: Hermit comes to you in the ninth house, so more knowledge for you. Yeah, so there's more knowledge ahead for you, and then your final outcome is your judgment is returned. You're going to get your mind back. If you take these basic general ideas that Spirit is suggesting to you today, it will go well with you. Meditation and clean up your diet and get off drugs and alcohol. Yeah, yeah. And then the clarification, I want to get a clarification on your challenges with addiction. If he doesn't love you, let it go. I know it's difficult, but tell them how you feel. Tell them how you feel. You know, you're a very loving person. You're presenting as the King of Cups, but could be that you're loving people that don't want to love you. You know, you're the bridge over troubled water. The other problem is you could be a scapegoat. Everybody's dumping their crap on the King of Cups. The King of Cups is just stable. They've got one foot in that rough water, but they remain stable. So people think that you're there to balance them out. I don't know. Your stress, you are obsessively grieving about what you have lost in life. The Five of Cups is to grieve that which you have lost. Oh my God, what happened to me? Oh, when I was a child. Oh, my unhappy childhood. Acknowledge it, but you still have a life to live. You are stressing about what you have lost and missing out on building a new tomorrow. How can my private practice be even better? You know, general coaching, medical intuitive. What can I do in this lifetime to help all sentient beings attain enlightenment? That's the prayer we say every day, twice a day, if we practice Buddhism, right? So, but my concern here is stress and obsessive thinking about the past. Again, because the eighth house is your house of what you're having an issue with. It's your house of obstacles. Your hope and fear is how you get along with other people. Have you become the old cranky person that can't get along with anybody? Are you feeling increasingly vulnerable, and that increasing vulnerability has made you afraid to allow other people into your permanent personal space? When an animal is vulnerable, it growls. right? Are you feeling so vulnerable that you're afraid to let anybody in? The Lovers. Will I let you into my space? Maybe something has happened, this grieving that's made you afraid of taking a lover or having these interpersonal relationships. Your final outcome over the issue of judgment is many of you who are seeking work will have a new job soon. That's exciting. New jobs, new employment, a new path awaits. That's also exciting. We've got that lovely Page of Pentacles. Archangel Gabriel is closest to the earth and is presented with pentacles, which are associated with the element of earth. Everything's connected. Muhammad, peace be upon him, he channeled Gabriel, right? First being he made contact with when he went into the caves. Now, if you're into aliens as cave dwellers, it is true that Muhammad, who was illiterate, peace be upon him, he would go deep into these caves and he would do these incredible meditations. And then he had a visitation by a being that showed up and started talking all kinds of nonsense about, you really shouldn't be burying girls alive, or leaving them to die in the desert just because they're female. You really should establish a system of government that's just. You really should stop all this nonsense. So some people say, did some alien show up and talk to him? Some people believe that. Something happens to him. Most people think he was not faking it, but something happens to him, right? And that something is this contact with a being that was Gabriel. And that's because of this idea that Gabriel is communicates with the earth. And you can see that Gabriel is holding that coin as if it's the earth. The communicator of the divine to the earth is the Archangel Gabriel, typified by the Page of Pentacles, which is the coin. It's the opportunity for a new job, and it's also associated with the element of the earth. So congratulations to those of you who are going into balance, getting yourself back together again, taking care of your diet, making sure you're resting. Caffeine is also an addictive substance. I do everything right, but I do drink 4 cups of coffee a day. I am in that category, right? Where I don't do any drugs other than I take an occasional Zyrtec or Benadryl. Isn't that nice? I stopped coughing. But I have to be mindful of not becoming overly dependent or addictive to these substances, right? Does that make sense? So focus on balancing your diet before all else. We say peace be upon him as just to show respect for the prophet. I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Buddhist, but I think he was enlightened for his time. What was it, the 6th century, 3rd, 4th century? I mean, he was saying things that were extremely radical. They were taking babies that were, not this one, female, and they would just leave it in the desert and let the buzzards eat it. So stop doing that, right? But by today's standards, we would say certain things are going on in Islamic extremism that are very primitive. Like, look at the Taliban. That doesn't sound like something Gabriel would have approved of, right? Now, there are people who believe in contact, that he made contact, but he was illiterate. He was just a guy that was trading back and forth. His wife was older than him. She was 40. He was 19. He fell in love with an older woman, nice Jewish girl by the name of Khalif. And his job, he worked for her and send my trade outs. And then he would go into these caves and he started seeing stuff, right? He thought he was going crazy. So yeah, there are people that study contact that think he may have contacted something. But the great leap forward, he could only go so far. He couldn't read, he couldn't write, and he'd been born into a society where life was very horrific, right? So he took them up several hundred centuries, right? So, but we want to keep it living, keep it going. We need to always be challenging and always striving towards greater and greater and greater human rights, right? So that's the story of Gabriel and Muhammad, peace be upon him, and this idea that Gabriel is close to the earth. Gabriel most likely helped write Bridge Over Troubled Water and 7 Psalms, which was channeled by Paul Simon, most likely by Gabriel, right? Like when Paul Simon said, I had a dream, and as I was waking, I heard a voice boom in my head. You shall write an album. You shall write a piece of music, and it shall be called the 7 Psalms. What the hell was that? A booming voice inside my head ordering me to write the 7 Psalms. Ye shall write the 7 Psalms. Oh, that wasn't my idea anyway, so I'm just going to go to sleep and forget about it. Wasn't my idea anyway. So whose idea was it? And he kept hearing the voice. Ye shall write the 7 Psalms, Mr. Paul Simon. Write the 7 Psalms. He wrote an album called the 7 Psalms. It was a channeled work given to him by Gabriel, right? So there you go. So that is your reading. I hope it gave you some comfort today. Of course, if you need to see me privately, please reach out to me. We're going to switch to this camera and do some blitzes. We will blitz, blitz, blitz away. Trump said Allah today. Well, maybe Allah will save him because he is a lost puppy. Sorry to say. All right. When we get the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away. Isn't that crazy that Paul Simon wrote the 7 Psalms? It was channeled to him. I just think that's crazy. I've never heard it, and I'm a huge Paul Simon lover. Yeah, we have to. We can't have it go for more than 15 seconds because, we don't have permission. We have to always break. What is it? 10 seconds? Is that how it goes? Yeah, so check it out. This is an example of Gabriel's mastery, right? The Lord, that is one of the albums. Love is like a bird. Love is like a bird. Then we have My Professional Opinion. A lot of acoustic guitar there. I love it. The Lord Part 2. And then asking for the forgiveness. I'm going to listen to this. Yeah. And the Sacred Harp. Ooh, I got to listen to that. The Sacred Harp. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, so check out 7 Psalms by our favorite guy in the world, Paul Simon. Okay, I have not received the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away, and I have no questions coming in yet for Tarot. So we'll just hang out. When my grandfather died, Geocosmics writes, in 1971, my family played Bridge Over Troubled Water at his funeral. It had just been released and touched souls immediately. Oh my God, what a great, great song. Okay. Geocosmic has given the order, so we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. Let's go to the top and see if we have questions. I think that we need to start with Mary Rose 5246. Hello, Mary Rose. There's a rumor that Trump went to Walter Reed Hospital. What do you guys think? Do you think there's any truth that Donnie went to Walter Reed? Let's go ahead and first find out if there's a fact check. Did Trump recently go to Walter Reed? I'm just curious what the if there's no they might say there's no evidence. No, Trump did not recently go to Walter Reed. Rumors spread rapidly on social media claiming he had rushed there for health issues. These were fueled by routine White House press lid announcement. Unverified post on possible Rose closure. It was denied. Despite denials, could it be possible? So the problem with artificial intelligence is that it will just tell you what the White House says as a fact. It says that it's possible, but highly unlikely. He remained active on Truth Social at the time. Well, again, that's not proof because somebody else could be posting for him. Today, he was photographed at the White House. But I worry for his health. You know, I think we all should be. He is running our country. So we can do 4 cards on his health. Thank you, Giovanni, for that lovely donation of $4.99. It will be used to get fish and chips or high tea in Edinburgh, as I will be in Britain for 2 weeks. We'll be broadcasting from Britain, Chuck and myself. And so please join us on our trip. Let us know where you want us to visit. We will be in Wales and Scotland. We will be in Wales and Scotland. Anywhere you want us to visit. We'll be visiting the Cotswolds, and we'll be talking. We're ghost hunting in Wales. We couldn't decide where to go, and then the universe kind of picked it for us. I reached out to a man that has a haunted house, a castle that's haunted, and he agreed to be interviewed. So we're going to visit a haunted castle, maybe have tea with him, and we will visit the sacred sites in Wales, also the Lake District in Manchester and in Scotland. Yeah. All right. Trump's health at this time. Fear of being cornered. So he might be talking about how the world is doing great. America's economy could not be better. I feel paranoid. I feel like they're closing in on me. I think they're going to take hands on me and they're going to take me away. They're going to take me away just like they took my father. They're going to put me in a room. They're coming to get me any day now with the paddy wagon. This is a repeated imagery. It's the first house. It's his immediate in a blitz. It's the equivalent of the seventh house in a Celtic. So it's the immediate environment he's feeling cornered and trapped at the White House. People are coming to get him, and he's starting to feel agoraphobic, afraid to go out there. He's hauled up, paranoid, and I keep getting this feeling like they're coming to get me. They're coming to get me just like they got my father. His house of opposition. Like, who's he having the issue with? The uncovering of information that is hidden. So who is the high priestess? Who is the high priestess? The high priestess reveals that which is hidden. So what he's afraid of, he's holed up and terrified of the high priestess. He's paranoid and frightened about an exposure. These are the sins that you have committed, right? We are looking at the ta'or, Torah. Or is the Hebrew for light, orb, right? A ball of light is an orb. Light is or. To bear or to give. Ta'or, to give the light, Torah. So who keeps the light? Who bears the light? The high priestess bears the Torah, and she releases the information that is hidden to the outside world. The moon is the lesser light. The sun lights us in the day. The moon lights us at night. It brings light to the darkness. So that is the imagery we have here of President Trump and his health. We have the case of a man who is hauled up trying to defend himself, and the high priestess is revealing that which is hidden. The hope and the fear of Donald Trump at this time. The high priestess, the empress is the treasure trove that ever overflows. He fears an exposure is happening. A treasure trove of information and documents that have been accumulated on him, perhaps, that he has no control over being released. I think it's the Epstein files. The final outcome for Donald Trump is sobriety. Who has the capacity to take control of Donald Trump? In the end, who is it? His physicians, right? So what happened when we did a remote of him with COVID? He went to the hospital and then he checked himself out early. Why? Because when he was there getting oxygen treatment, they said, we got to make sure he doesn't have COVID brain. I did a remote on this, and I put myself in the shoes of the other as a remote viewer. So I put myself in the shoes of Donald Trump, and I found myself talking to the doctors that had to determine, is this guy in his right mind? So let's go ahead and do some brain scans, and we could go ahead and determine whether or not he can be released. At that point, what? Huh? You're doing what? You want to do additional imaging on my brain? Yeah, while you're here, let's go ahead and tinker inside your brain, because if this guy isn't in his right mind, then we can go ahead and hand power over to Pence. I'm fine. I'm fine. You don't need to do any more. You don't need to do any more imaging on my brain. I'm leaving. But President Trump, we still haven't completed our test. We were about to do imaging on you. This is a very important test. You may have COVID brain and not be in your right mind, in which case we would have to issue Article 25 and have you removed, right? I'm leaving. And so the next thing you know, he got up and left. So temperance could indicate sobriety and abstaining from drugs. Could it be an indicate that his excuse me, his doctors have come in? His mental, the presidency has not done good things for his mental health. The stress and anxiety regarding his job. Archangel Gabriel is right over him too. So that's his job and that's his employment. His house of opposition at this time, the high priestess. We would like you to come in and talk to a committee. And we would like you to answer some questions, Mr. Trump, President Trump. This is an invitation to address closed door meetings with the House and Senate. We're giving you an offer here, Ace of Cups, regarding suspicions of activities or things you participated in that are hidden, that are currently being revealed. There is an Ace of Cups. We're giving you a cup here. Why don't you not have to be subpoenaed? Why don't you just agree to come in and have a little conversation with us? Paranoia, defending himself, defending his job. Can he do the job? We are at war right now. The world is on fire, Mr. Trump. We would like, you're under investigation for running a human trafficking operation. We'd like you to come in and have a little conversation with us. Can you do that for us? The hope and the fear of the Empress is the experts are digging through things. Chip, 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 chip. Right? So you have these masters coming over the situation that are looking very closely at a treasure trove of information. That would scare the hell out of me if I had done something wrong, because they will pick with precision. The final outcome is patience over a heavy load. I don't think that they have confidence that he can handle the heavy load of the presidency. And I think that the doctors are coming in, which leads me to think it's possible he did go to the doctors, because temperance is, if I'm a doctor and I'm responsible, and I suspect if I test him and find drugs in his system that we didn't prescribe, I need to know where he's getting those drugs. I don't care if he is the president. If he's my patient, I need to know what that's about. We need to have a little conversation. Now, the other thing, doctors could be working against him. And there's something about experts. I see experts also with that card, experts coming in and wanting to have a little conversation with him. I put myself in the shoes of somebody that's in that situation, which Trump is, and it's terrifying. You know, it's a terrifying thing. It tells me, as the reader, that they're moving in on him, that he sees the Republicans starting to turn, that he's starting to see cooperation between the Republicans and Democrats in the House and the Senate, and that his doctors are moving in. What is it? Latin term for not able to function. Non-compos mentis. That's the diagnosis from the Latin. Non-compos mentis. So I get the impression from those cards that we're in a very scary situation globally, that as a doctor, if I'm running a blood test, I'm going to go ahead and do a toxicology screen on this patient as well. And I'm finding high amounts of benzodiazepines and amphetamines in your system that were not prescribed by Walter Reed. So I need to have a conversation with you, President Trump, about why these drugs are in your system and where you got them. And I'm putting it in your chart. And that's a problem. Now, on the other side, he's dealing with the Republicans and Democrats ganging up on him and coming after him because they're afraid of what is going to happen to them in November. Oh my God. Very scary. Had a strangest dream I ever dreamed before. I dreamed that men had all agreed to put an end to war. I dreamed the world had all agreed. Yes, I think so. Completely irrational. True love is irrational, right? And his love for Oasis one is pure true love. It's a pure love that is greater than his mental health problems. Pure love is greater than any mental health problem. So he finds himself called to that he must do this thing, but he doesn't know why. And it is his contract with his higher self. That is what I took away from the dream. But he still has to pay karma for what he's done. He's hurt a lot of people. People are dead because of him and Doge. And so he has to pay the piper. Yeah, when you take drugs and abuse yourself, other people get hurt. And Doge would be an example of that. So if you love humanity, do not hurt yourself. Be in your right mind. Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, because a lot of people think that I like that clearly there's a supernatural connection between me and Mr. Musk because we have agreed prior to this incarnation to have this contract with one another. It's a pretty powerful contract to have, right? And I can consciously be aware of that I have that I feel very blessed that God made a miracle. But while consciously being aware of that and having universal love for this person who I share this karma with, I'm going to go down with the ship because of Oasis 1, the Anderson Oasis protocol. I own it is my karma, it's my destiny. I accept it. I'm honored that this great pure love can exist between me and this person's soul that is intent on creating world peace. And I can separate that from the person in this dimension that is doing terrible things. And that's not a conflict for me because I understand that that the soul is pure. Does that make sense? Right. And it has taken him from his center. And then that goes back to the question of the comment that Irish girl is saying, as imperfect as Elon Musk is, he was the instrument that the universe chose to make sure this happened as quickly as possible and could get the people together to make it happen as quickly as possible. And the ultimate purpose is that we are trying to get to least amount of deaths. So to backtrack away from political correctness and move towards how can we keep people alive, right? that this is created to cause the least amount of deaths, right? So ultimately, the primary reason for the 5 steps in Oasis was to keep people from dying. People will die. 40,000 people in 2 days. Iran killed 40,000 and many more if their regime doesn't collapse. So I took from this that Musk and Trump were instruments to achieve something that would ultimately lead to us not dying in a nuclear war. And that is why this protocol was developed. And I'm having pushback on phase 4. We've been open about that as well. That certain people want to keep Putin alive. And my argument has been that he has to be removed. Because it's going to be harder for us to have a changing of the guards and dismantle Iranian leadership if we don't also take out Putin. And that prediction proved to be accurate. This was, of course, in 2023 that the data for the Oasis was built. This is the actual copy sent to the IDF in December of 2023. We can see they followed all 3. These were adopted by Joe Biden. And we're now moving on phase 5. But I'm having resistance on phase 4. And I think it's starting to dawn on the powers that be. We're not going to get to Oasis if we don't remove Putin and establish an Oasis zone in the Donbass. So you have people making deals, right? So you have deals going on with Zelensky. And what's that about? What's going on? What's happening here? You guys know more than not. My audience is smaller than the other readers, but you can be comforted in knowing that you have more information on what's really going on than 99.999% of the general population. And for that, you have to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. You know something, don't you? What's happening? What's this deal between him and the pan-Arab states? Why is he doing a drone deal? Why was Musk meeting with Mohammed bin Salman in the White House? You know why, don't you? The Abraham Accords, the Anderson Oasis Protocol was adopted. Means we want cooperation from the Abraham Accords. Now we see Zelensky meeting with those same people. What's going on? This is why we have to remove Putin, phase 4. See how smart you are? You know everything. You know everything. You know that Europe wants to be part of those Oasis zones. And that this is going to happen. And that's why Elon Musk was meeting with MBS, right? Everything is coming together. Do you see it? Do you see it? I think you do. So Zelensky has a 20-point plan. What does it include? What does his peace plan include? Come along with me, my friend, and see the power of remote viewing.
Talks stutter on. Russia's army claimed advances in the eastern region of Donetsk, releasing this video of airstrikes, the date unverified, the damage undeniable. Yesterday, Ukraine's President Zelensky, after his delegation returned from talks with the US in Miami, briefed journalists on a slimmed-down peace plan with 20, not 28 points, and with the ball now back in Russia's court.
We sense that America wants to reach a final agreement, and from our side, there is full cooperation. Ukraine has never been and will never be an obstacle to peace. We're working actively and doing everything necessary to ensure that the documents come to fruition and that they are realistic.
In a key concession, Ukraine would consider pulling troops back from areas of Donetsk with the creation of a demilitarized free economic zone.
A demilitarized economic zone. A demilitarized economic zone. What do you think that would look like? What do you think that is going to look like? Does God work in mysterious ways? Do you see it? Do you see it?
This if Russia too withdraws from an equivalent stretch of land, something Russia is unlikely to accept, even if it says it's formulating a response. Ukraine would sacrifice NATO ambitions for US-European security guarantees. What that would entail remaining unclear, and any peace plan would be put to a referendum.
And so, my fellow sensitive people, my fellow sensitive people,
a handshake and the hope of sealing
midnight at the Oasis. Send your camel to bed. Ooh. Shadows over our faces. Traces La 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 la. Woo! Midnight at the Oasis. So, what do we take from this? What do we take from this? What is the answer? What did that crazy frickin' tarot card reader? She's insane. Well, maybe she's an insane genius. She reads tarot cards. You can't. Okay, she's crazy. Keep the genie in the bottle. I'll be Whimsy. I'm gonna be like Major Nelson here, and I'm gonna build those rockets, and I got to get over to NASA, and you're gonna be my genie. Tony loved Genie, but Genie's got to stay in the bottle. I got a genie. Every man needs a genie. I understand here because I'm insane as well. So, in love with a lunatic, right? Two lunatics with crazy, crazy, crazy ideas, right? These crazy ideas about peace, right? Like, how can we get to peace? You know, how can we make that happen? Is that possible? And I believe it's possible, but I also think that it will be imperfect people, right? It will be imperfect people. It will be people that, in some cases, people that do bad things. Perfection cannot be the enemy of the good. Do you see it? Perfection cannot be enemy of the good. These are not good people, and yet they are doing something which is very, very good. Are they secretly hoping that now they're going to go to heaven? If I can pull this off, if we can pull this off, and if we can merge it with the Donetsk, do we save lives in the end? So congratulations. You are an unusual person that knows more than 99.9% of the general population. So watching the news is going to be really frustrating for you. Because you know so much. Because you have so much backdoor information, it's probably really, well, they're not right, and you're not right. Y'all, everybody who talks to you about the war, everybody who talks to you about motive, every time you hear things that are not accurate, it's going to be frustrating for you. Because you've seen the data. That's the truth. That's what's really going on. We live in an amazing, magical world with strange things happening. You know, some would say it's a matrix. Maybe it is a matrix. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've certainly witnessed in this lifetime some miracles. I think we all have. What I don't understand is why Democrats are so soft on the Republicans. Maybe they're pragmatic like I am. Sometimes you have to work with people who you think are terrible in order to get the good passed. If you're trying to avoid a government shutdown that's going to cause government workers not to be able to pay their rent, evictions, right? People started getting evicted from their homes. So there's a part of you that has to be pragmatic. If these are the people that are in charge, we have to be willing to work with them. Now, they will probably face their own karma in the future, right? They will all have to pay the piper eventually, right? But yeah, that's what's going on. All right, war crimes. What's wrong with the Democrats? They've had to let go of a lot of their idealism to save what they can save. They're trying to save what they can save. Eight of Cups, the House of Opposition, Ten of Pentacles, the Legacy card. So it's very hard to let go of this president if you voted for him. And if you're pushing a campaign to keep him in the White House, you're going to have to give up your own legacy or the legacy of your own party, which is what MTG did, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene did that. Hopes and fears, the Five of Wands, which is fighting. People are getting tired of the fighting. Stop calling each other names and fix our and give us some goddamn health care. Pardon my French. Help us. Stop stealing our money. Stop bankrupting us. Right? Stop giving deals to Amazon and everybody else. Final outcome, Ace of Cups, peace. So it's pragmatic. Having to do deals with people we don't always like, right? Oh, good for you. That's an honorable vow. Aruba. I don't think that getting over rape is acknowledge it, acknowledge the pain and trauma. What we want you to get over is the belief that you asked for it, or that it was your karma, or that you brought it on yourself, or that you in any way were responsible. Forgive yourself for the false belief that you may have brought it on yourself or deserved it, because that's probably what you're really being tormented about. Snap out of the brainwashing and the victim bashing. Why did I get on the plane and trust somebody when my gut instinct said, don't get on that plane? He's going to use you, right? Dorothy Stratton, she got on the plane, or she went back to the house of a man she knew was dangerous because she was trying to be nice and get a nice divorce. Star 80, right? Playboy Bunny raped, tortured her, and killed her, right? So forgive yourself for not maybe listening to your inner voice, or making the mistake of trusting that person, or and go through the anger. Let yourself be angry, because once you start to recover and realize, well, I didn't pick that. I don't believe in all this. It was your karma. People have free choice. If someone chooses to rape another person, it's entirely on them. What you were was a vulnerable person that they could use. Your crime was in being female. Your crime was in being vulnerable. We always want to blame the victim, but so I would say forgive snap out of the misogynist brainwashing, and that's going to help you a lot in your healing. And then get really, really angry and send as many hexes in the direction of the perpetrator as you see fit. if you feel that that's going to help you. I was asked if I could discuss before we close today what a mirroring spell is. So we can talk about a mirroring spell. I just need a second to set up. So give me 1 minute and I will come back. Hold on. A mirroring spell always works, okay? A mirroring spell always works. It was given to me by a rabbi in Jerusalem in order to protect against negativity. This is the kind of mirror we recommend. These are cheap. I got this at the 99-cent store. So the mirror should be placed by your window sill. And my window sill is over here. So if I'm trying to, maybe someone is attacking me that lives in the Southwest. So I would want it to be directed to the Southwest. Or maybe I have multiple attackers. So I might want to have multiple mirrors. So when a person comes up to your window, they will see their own face, right? So you have the mirror pointing outward from the window. In front of the mirror, you'll place a white candle. You can do a 7-day candle. So when the person looks in the mirror in your window, a light will shine back at them and the mirror. This is your setup. 7-day candles are great. Never leave it burning. You have to put it out before you leave, particularly if you're dealing with incredibly dark energy. Never leave don't worry, it won't affect the spell. The energy will still be there. It's best to light it at night. A rabbi from Mea Shearim gave me this. So this is Kabbalah, and it's for anybody who wants to use it. Yeah, this was given to me by the rabbis. It always works. It has never failed. So they will send you horrible negative energy, the person that has harmed you, and it was dying out. And you are sending back light, and you are sending back their negativity. So the mirror is every darkness you sent to me is returned back to you, and I just send you back light. I send you light, and I will not be receiving what you are sending. So if something happens to the other person, you yourself are not taking on the karma of hexing them. They are taking on the karma of their own evil eye. So if I'm saying, I'm going to get you, I'm looking at myself getting the evil eye. I'm going to, right? I'm just sending light and saying, no, that package does not belong to me. You need to send it on back, right? So other things the rabbis said may help is you want to have a dish of salt, kosher salt. I don't have any kosher salt. Regular salt works. They like the kosher salt, or you can also do, I think the Himalayan is nice, the big chunky, and that can also go in front, a bowl of that, and that will absorb any tumé or spiritual uncleanliness that could come into the home. Also, the second thing you can have by your mirror is a glass of water. Kabbalists talk about the spirit going into the water. So it's the negativity is absorbed by the salt and the water. So what are you going to be doing for those 7 days? Read the Psalms. So every night you light the candle, which is in front of the mirror, the 7-day candle, and open up and begin reading the Psalms. All is well with my soul, the song we were just listening to. God will protect me from my enemies. God will protect me from those who wish me harm. Those are the Psalms. So the Psalms are set up perfectly for a mirroring spell. And so every night you would sit and you would do your setup. You can also rinse salt. You can rinse your hands. Some people, my mother would actually put salt on her hands when she was koshering meat, and she would clean with the salt. Sephardim are really strict about blood in their meat. My mother was Sephardic. So you can rinse your hands afterwards if you're worried about negativity. Just shake it off with some water. Some people do with salt. Get that negative crap out of me. When you are done, you can take the water and just pour it into the ground. Because there's a lot of, don't let your cat drink the water. Some people will put a top on the water also, because animals will say, oh, I'll drink this. And then you wind up with a sick animal. So you want to make sure animals don't touch it, because the water is energetically impure. It's going to absorb the impurities. The salt, you can put it in a bag, put it in the trash, and just throw it out. If you feel you need to protect I don't really feel like I have much negative energy on me anymore. I went through some stuff, but I don't really feel like I have it too much on me. So I don't really feel like I need to do a mirroring spell right now. But yeah, that's what you would do. So that's the mirroring spell. It always works. I had a friend who was going to be fired from her job. We went to see the rabbis in Safat. They gave her the mirroring spell. She set it up in our hotel in Jerusalem, and she began reading the Psalms. When she got back to the States, the boss that was threatening to fire her had been fired. She prayed for her husband, and she prayed for her boss to not have problems with her boss. He was fired and replaced by a new man who she's now married to with 2 kids. You don't mess around with Kabbalists. And they picked her out of a crowd. We were walking, we were in Safat, and we were going to the kever, the cave for soul, where you find your soulmate. You pray for a soulmate at this cave, and you have to go around 7 times. And there was a bunch of us in a crowd, and the rabbis looked at her. There was a group of Kabbalists, and they said, she was a Christian. She wasn't even Jewish. And they were like, they'll work with anyone who needs a healing. And it was just like, you got to come over here. There's something going on with you. And she was very distressed about, should I have taken this vacation? He's threatening to fire me. You need to do the mirroring spell. And they showed her how to do it, and they gave her a book of Psalms in English for her to read. Guy was fired. She came to the kever to find a soulmate. That's why she went around the cave 7 times, was to find her soulmate. And she got both. Those Kabbalists don't mess around. They told me, you're going to be okay. I said, well, what about my blessing? You're going to be all right. I'm a nice Jewish girl. What about me? They're like, you don't really need it. You're gonna find. It's like, I got no bracha. I was like, what the hell is this? I guess I didn't. Yeah, they probably didn't think I should get married either. Oh yes, the warrior for light. Well, I definitely think that everything I went through helped me create the Anderson Oasis protocol. So I definitely think there's some truth to that. Yeah, eat cleaner and avoid hateful people. Absolutely. Type 2, 5.8. Oh, you're doing very well at 5.8. Let's try and get it down a couple more points. Look at intermittent fasting as well. If you need to come and see me, give me a call. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie. Yeah, keep your blood sugar stable and make sure you're meditating and resting properly. Whimsy, remember, you do your part. I have seen the other side of Dark Dimension. Believe me, all those who did wrong get a grueling live review. Yeah, but me too. I'm going to get a live review. I've made some mistakes. I've been well, I think my ex-boyfriend kind of deserved it, but all right. Only pharmacists working 2 full-time jobs at hospital on reservation. I work better under stress. Oh dear. Well, some people like that. Klonopin, yeah. When you sleep, you do get out of your body. Yes. You see things as a gift. Oh, you had an obstruction, esophagus, and couldn't eat for 3 months and lost 60 pounds. Oh. Oh, yeah. Good. Slow down, chew your food. And you probably already know this, but think about soups and broths, bone broth. Meditation is a very good thing. Amen to that. I did that. Look, they're trying to stay alive. You know, our friends and family members have been murdered, and it's just not the right time. It'll happen. Christ consciousness. Yes, I know I met him because the amount of love I felt for him and vice versa was way above how I feel in this world. You know, I don't like his personality in this dimension, but on a soul level, we have a deep love for each other and a deep calling when it comes to Oasis. So yeah, deep unconditional love for each other. But that doesn't mean I don't call you out when you kill 250,000 black kids. So, you know, this dimension, bad things are happening. The higher realm, the soul is pure. Yeah, gratitude every day is important. Statistics for Cancer Center, 20 million grant for publication will apply complex dynamics for frame shifting of tumor suppressor genes. Oh, that's good. I know I'm here for a purpose, for light, a mission. So I do try. Oh, good for you, my love. That is really, really good. Paul Simon is a channeler. Yes, he's spoken openly about the fact that he receives voices in his head that guide his music. Yeah. Now I have to go listen to the 7 Psalms. See what Gabriel was telling him. Yeah. Okay, no motorcade. So it was false. But he does have anxiety. Art Bell episode, John Hogue has predicted a war with Iran from Nostradamus. Yeah, well, Iran falls. They're already in serious trouble. The IRGC leadership got wiped out the last couple of days. Yeah. Oh, I don't know anything about a tunnel under Gene Hackman's house. Let's go ahead and check that out. Is there a tunnel under Gene Hackman's house? Let's fact check if there is, in fact, a tunnel. The story is a hoax that went viral in March of 2025. Fact checkers debunked it. It was false. There is no supporting evidence or any information that there are catacombs and hidden networks under Hackman's. No independent research verification, no reporters. There's nothing other than a rumor as a sensational YouTube video. like the ultimate discovery, clickbait creators. But there's no independent verification that that's true. It's been debunked. People want to come up with scary, spooky, conspiracy stuff. Oh, we weren't going to go to Paris. We were thinking about going to Nice, but we want to see Wales and Scotland. So we decided Wales and Scotland. No, he's going through a spiritual change right now. So accountable for what? I don't think that not paying his taxes, maybe. But no, he is very actively involved in the Abraham Accords and the Oasis Protocol. So it's a good thing. Oh, there's a guard photographed outside his office. I'm looking to see if he really did make a public appearance. I believe he's not at all well. Yeah, I agree. He's not well. Let's take a look. Stephen Miller. It would be great because he has Nazi leanings. I think so. I think there's something seriously wrong with Stephen Miller. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. I think we're going to close now. This will be our last question. Good hanging with you guys. King of Pentacles. He presents as the King of Pentacles. His house of opposition, sobriety. Interesting. Hopes and fears. The Knight of Cups. He doesn't want peace. He may have his own drug or alcohol problem. Something is crazy with him. He gets his wish regarding what? Oh, if he wants war, he gets a wish, war. There's strife right over him. Business and strife. His house of opposition, that was surprising, came out by sobriety. Also, his house of opposition is the Peace Knight, King of Cups. Interesting. He doesn't want peace, he wants war. He will get his wish, there will be war. Ace of Swords, by the sword, he lives and dies. The final outcome for him, mental illness. He wants war. He wants war, and he has gotten his wish, which is war. But his mental health will continue to decline. Yeah, that's basically what they say. Well, I've had a really lovely Easter with all of you, a very lovely Passover. It is time for me, speaking of Passover, to get myself a little bit of food from my Passover cupboards. Yes, open up another box of shmura matzah. All right, if you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can book me through a Booksy, Dr. Whimsy Anderson Booksy, and I would love to give you a consultation, medical, intuitive, or just general coaching. You can check it out at Booksy. All right, we're out of here. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We will see you next time, everyone. Bye, everyone. Thanks a lot for everything. Love you guys. Be well.